Now that Kosovo is rapidly emptying of ethnic Albanians, the equation here is changing dramatically. The Milosevic government reportedly has long had plans to resettle the province with Serbs. But the Albanians, with the military backing of NATO, say they want to go back. Since the passions run so deep, it'll be a long time before it's determined just who will inhabit this stricken land. David Snyder, CBN News, along the southern border of Kosovo. As in Britain, Social Security reform in America may have to come incrementally. But that doesn't change the perception among many that, at age 65, it may be time to retire parts of the American system. David Snyder, CBN News, London. The consensus on Capitol Hill was that President Bush said precisely what the nation needed to hear.
And I think he hit three chords with the American people. One, we're going to respond responsibly and out of great wisdom. Two, we're going to focus on the economy. And three, that the strength of America is in our people.
Senate leaders took the unusual course of appearing together to show their support.
Tonight, there is no opposition party. We stand here united, not as Republicans and Democrats, not as Southerners or Westerners or Midwesterners or Easterners, but as Americans.
We may encounter differences of opinion along the way, but there is no difference in our aim. We are resolved to work together.
Lawmakers made it clear that in the wake of last week's attacks, partisanship is no more welcome in Washington than the terrorists themselves.
Here in Washington, there's two parties, Republicans and Democrats, but there's no sunlight that stands between Republicans and Democrats in support of President Bush's efforts to eliminate terrorism throughout the globe.
Military hawks are ready to provide the president with everything he asks for.
And that means we're going to have to rebuild our national security. We're going to have to provide the ammunition, the troops, the spare parts, all the things we haven't been providing for the last many years.
Members of Congress declared their resolve is as strong as the president's.
We're going to make sure that when it happens, these guys are eradicated from the earth, because all they will do will destroy every freedom-loving nation in the world, and it has to stop, and it has to stop now.
Clearly, whoever perpetrated this horrible, evil act clearly underestimated the strength and the heart that the American people have and their willingness to do what it takes to protect liberty and freedom.
Just like the beginning of the Bush presidency, the theme here again tonight was unity. Insiders here tell me that the next big push in Congress will be to finish up this session, send everyone home by the end of October in order to permit the president the most latitude to prosecute this war on terrorism. David Snyder, CBN News, Capitol Hill.
What did you experience today on the ground in D.C.?
Well, Lee, they evacuated us very quickly from Capitol Hill. In fact, it was so quick that when I was later allowed back on the grounds, saw some very interesting things inside the Capitol. I was permitted to go back in even though the place was emptied out in order to get some personal effects from the CBN News office in the Senate gallery. And one of the most striking images that I saw was that in people's hurry to get out of the Capitol building, some people literally ran so fast that they ran out of their shoes. I saw at least 3 pairs of women's shoes outside of the Capitol building, and several other examples throughout the Capitol of people having left in such a hurry that it really struck me as perhaps what the rapture might look like.
You know, David, we were just hearing what Neil Livingston, the terrorism expert, says that these people need to be tracked down and killed, those who perpetrated this attack. You've been with members of Congress all day. Are they reacting in much the same way?
Well, there is anger, Lee, but many members immediately dropped down on their knees and prayed. They prayed to God for His blessing on this country, His protection, and for His grace on the United States. I spent some time with Senator Sam Brownback today, who spent a lot of time in prayer. Then my cameraman, Jerome Young, and I went over to the National Prayer Center, and there were people, members of Congress, actually gathered together in prayer just a couple of blocks from Capitol Hill. I've got to tell you, too, that members of Congress were also stunned and, yes, angry. I spoke with House Majority Leader Dick Armey, who called today's tragedy an assault on civilization.
Civilized people don't do these things.